All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of This Week in Charts via Carnivore Trades and Wall Street from Main Street. Starting off, as always, with the S&P 500, we took out the 450 handle here on the SPY ETF. That would equal out to 4,500 if you follow the SPX. But nonetheless, another milestone reached for this market, and now making over 50% gains in the S&P 500 since the March low. So truly an incredible really last 18 months for the market, and that's just a testament to the amount of central bank liquidity that they've put into this market. And you know, a lot of people have been expecting a correction, myself included, but you know, ultimately, and I've talked about this a lot on my channel, there's been just too many bears in the market. Really, if you look at the put call ratio, nothing is really past any sort of sell signal, and the bull bear ratio really is, you know, it's high, but it's not in screeching sell territory. And I've been talking about potential for a blow-off move, and what I've been looking for is, you know, something like this, what we got late last August. Once you start going vertical and you start making you know, ridiculous gains in the shortest period of time, and you just see bears capitulate, that's where you know the top is in the market. And I think that after Jackson Hole, after what the Fed said yesterday, Friday, we may have the potential for that type of vertical move. And, you know, we really need to see sentiment get just extremely euphoric and uber bullish before that happens. And you guys know we've been looking to play the VIX again. We've gotten in a few times, and, you know, we had a couple of nice pops. We made nice money, but the real move in the VIX is coming. And, you know, it'll be time to get there, but I want to see one leg lower. And in order for the market to really put in the top, we need to see bearish capitulation, which would coincide with a move lower in the VIX. And if it gets down to my level, we'll pull the trigger there. But as far as that's concerned, you know, and breadth Friday was actually pretty good. Over the last month or so, market breadth has been absolutely terrible. It's been just awful breadth. It's basically been 5 stocks leading the market higher, 5 or 10 stocks. And on Friday, we saw a really good breadth, which, you know, that could be the sign that we're going to put in a blow-off move very soon. Because, you know, when you have that bearish capitulatory move, what happens is everything goes up. You know, every junk name in the market will make some gains, and everybody will look like a genius for a week or two, and then that's when the top will be put in. So, anyways, just we're just going to keep an eye out for that. And that's just kind of what I'm seeing here as far as the equity markets are concerned. But until this is over with, until we get a confirmed top, we have to respect the uptrend. You know, we can't fight it. So that's just what you have to do. But anyways, let's quickly flip over to precious metals here. We'll talk a little bit about gold. So gold having a nice pop this past week, came well off the lows. We had this huge dump a couple weeks ago. Nice rebound, and then we kind of went sideways here, and I said, hey, you know, if it starts going sideways, it probably wants to attack these highs. And you know, as opposed to if it comes, you know, if we get like a drop and pop, or excuse me, a pop and drop into the 20 moving average and it starts pulling back, that's not a good sign. But the fact that it's firming up here, you know, tells you it wants to go higher, and that's exactly what it did. Monday had a nice move, little 3-bar pullback, and then Friday a big pop off of the Fed. So gold's shaping up pretty well here. Again, you know, I want to see GDX do a little bit more, but you know, Friday was a good start. You want to see the miners leading the metal. That's going to be you know, that's a good sign of, you know, bullish momentum, and the miners can be a leading indicator, and they often are. So I want to see the GDX firm up a little bit more. But if we pull back onto the monthly chart, and I know I've pointed this chart out a couple of times. Really, this 31 or so handle has been kind of the key pivot point really since 2013. So we had this, you know, massive sell-off here. You had a little bear rally, and then just kind of a capitulatory move, just the last leg down in the bear market there. And then we went back up, tested 31, couldn't get through it, so we had to pull back for quite a while. And then eventually you got back up there again, little pullback. Then you had the March low, and you know, really just blasted through it there, back tested it. Now we're back testing again, but again, if this 31 holds, there's no reason to say The GDX can't take off to the upside. So, generally, so short term, I want to see the GDX firm up a little bit more and start leading the spot price of gold. But for now, long term, the bullish uptrend is still pretty much intact. So, that's just, and and then shorter term, this does not look, it's a pretty bearish look here. But you pull the charts back, and they tell you a lot more, and that's what I always tell everybody is, you got to look at those bigger time frames. They will tell you much more. They're much more dominant, and they will tell you a lot more about the equity you're looking at. But anyways, we'll quickly move over to silver here. So this one is interesting to me. I like this little pop here in silver, and we will probably, if it gives us the right pattern, we'll probably look to enter this week. By the way, I do have Patreon live now, so that is up and running if you want to come check that out for a swing trading service. And it's only $5 a month. Some of the members paid for a couple of years worth of the service in the first day or two that we were involved in it. So yeah, if you want to check that out, it's Patreon/Carnivore Trades. But anyway, this is one we'll look to probably play for a swing this week. I believe I posted this on Twitter. Just want to look back here. All right, so yeah, so going back in 2006, 2007, you notice we had these series of higher lows. 1, 2, 3 right there, and then we had a blast off to the upside before eventually having the correction and the bear market in 2008. But really everything went down then. But support was held there, and then we had that super cycle. And you guys know I've been pointing out this pattern really for the last couple of months. You can actually see it a little bit better on the weekly time frame. But see the 1, 2, 3 higher lows after a nice a reversal really. If you look here, we just kind of had like a bear market, then a capitulatory move, and then a blast off. Similar deal here where we had kind of a bear market, and then a move higher, and then just kind of 1, 2, 3 higher lows, and then a blast off, retrace, and then the real super cycle started. So, I'm not saying that's what happens right here, but I can see the potential for it, and I'm liking what silver is doing here on the daily time frame. I've been waiting for this one to catch up, and I think if this firms up earlier this week, again, we'll probably look to play this alongside. So if you guys are in my Patreon, yeah, be ready for that one. So that one's definitely on the radar. But anyways, yeah, really liking what silver's doing here. So we're going to keep that on watch. We'll just quickly talk about crude. So crude getting a nice bounce back. Again, if you guys have been following me on my channel, I've been talking about this 70 handle. I think that's where it's going to stall out. It's run into a little bit of trouble. Possibly as high as 72.50. It has had a nice little bounce back here. But you see this big red bar, that's where you reversed. That's where you're going to have some resistance. And you're going to have resistance here at the 50 moving average. But, energy kind of just hanging in there right now at the moment, not doing anything too crazy either way, but it has had some really nice moves off of the lows, and then it's met with more selling. So we did have a lower low here, and I do think crude probably goes down and tests that 57.50 level over the next month or so, maybe a couple of months. But generally, crude so far just holding up. I mean, if you look at the XLE, XLE not getting nearly as much of a bounce as crude. Same thing goes for really XOP. Although XOP had a nice Friday, and the OIH. So these are weaker names. They got below their 200 moving average in the recent weeks, and really just kind of like leading the market lower here. So I'm not super bullish on oil stocks right now, and as we get into the deeper into the fall here. However, one area that of energy that has done really well is nat gas. This one's just still holding up. I thought this one was going to run into some headwinds, which it kind of did. We did stall out a little bit around that $4 handle. We got up to 420 and stalled out a bit, but this is still into some serious resistance here on the monthly time frame. You're going straight into that 200 moving average with no consolidation. And you also have these pivots here from 2018 and this giant. I mean, this is a massive reversal right here. That's a lot of selling. That's going to be resistance. But yeah, nat gas has held up really well so far. And I was bullish on this wedge pattern. I liked that wedge pattern there that we had, and nice breakout. So can't take anything away from nat gas, but I think it's coming into a lot of resistance here on the monthly time frame, which to be fair can take some time to play out. It can go a little bit higher, and when you have a monthly time frame, You know, sometimes it takes a while for that pattern to play out because there's so many days within that month. But net gas, you know, can't take anything away from it. It's had a nice run. So that's, you know, really been one of the bright spots in the energy sector over the last couple months. And then lastly, we'll just take a look at the dollar index here. So dollar pulling back a little bit this week, but this is a nice bullish structure, honestly, and I think if the dollar pulls back into that 92 handle, it's probably going to put in a higher low. You see this trend line here that is ascending. If the dollar pulls back into that area and it holds, it's probably going to tell you it wants to go up and retest this 93.50 area and possibly punch up to the 94.50 handle. And that essentially would coincide if, you know, let's say we have a blow off move in the equity markets and the dollar can make a higher low. And then once the reversal and the top is put in the equity markets, you know, logically you would see that coinciding with a higher dollar. So that's really something I could see playing out over the next couple of months. And remember, September is one of the most turbulent months historically for the equity markets. So just bear that in mind as we get more and more bullish here in the near term, especially after, you know, the market really just loved what the Fed said yesterday at Jackson Hole. So, you know, once all the good news is priced in, then there's really nothing left for the market to do other than sell. So that's essentially the psychology of it. Oh, and before I forget, I just want to quickly cover Bitcoin real fast. I forgot to point this out. So we talked about Bitcoin going into these this resistance area here at the 618. So I know there's a lot of lines on here, but you can see the 0.618 right there at about 51,600, which is a retrace from the June lows and the April high, and it also coincides with this breakdown area at about, you know, roughly 51,000. And then we talked about this head and shoulder neckline as possible upside for Bitcoin, but we're not there yet. So, but anyways, we have stalled out here at the 618 essentially, and now we're kind of just pulling back a little bit, consolidating. So Bitcoin could be setting up for a move higher. It could be pushing, setting up to push up to test this this trend line here. So Bitcoin, you know, near term, it's nothing really wrong with it. And if it consolidates a little bit more, it could push up and try to tag that area, and that would be your next area. Maybe it could get up to 55,000. I could see it getting up as high as 55K in the near term before stalling out again. But just wanted to give a little bit of an update there. But if this flag pattern fails, though, you're probably headed back down to 41, 42. You know, maybe got the 200 moving average in there, but you're probably headed back to these pivots. But for right now, Bitcoin's holding up, and it looks like it wants to set up for a little bit of a pop here. So just wanted to give you guys a tidbit there for crypto. But yeah, anyways, guys, take care. Come check me out on Patreon. Come check me out on YouTube, Twitter, at Aaron Basil on YouTube and Twitter, and Patreon /Carnivore Trades. But yeah, take care. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you next week.